Welcome to Shays Spiritual Insights. It's September. I'm so glad we're all getting together now after skipping August. Whew. So for opening here, one of the things we've been talking about is all the new energies coming in, and they're kind of their precursor energies that happen, like a bow wave, before the ship moves to that position. And what I'm seeing now in many people's lives, including our own, is that, and especially the soul group, those energies are here. There's a bunch of changes happening, and I feel a lot of people, including ourselves, are being called to, like, old patterns are going away, and that's always happening anyway, but it's in an accelerated fashion. And I'm seeing this with so many people, and we're to let them go, not have them part of our lives anymore, and move into the new things. And I'm really seeing that in the world. And with any change, of course, the issue always is there's a mix of things. And for those who are operating from their lower self, it's the circle of where you're either going up on when things are good, and then of course on the downside, and where we're to be is obviously in the center. So that's kind of a quick thing that I've been noticing over the last 2 months since our last one. Is it's really manifesting out there, and I'm seeing it with so many people. And for those who are ready, they're flowing with it. And and we all can have it where we hold on to something, and next thing you know, because we're holding on to it, the universe kind of jolts us out of it sometimes. It's all of a sudden we have to, we get pushed out of it, and it can be a little bumpy when that happens. So that's what I have. And who's got the battery that might be going out? Franny?
No, it's me.
Oh, well then, you know what? We're going to start with you then. I want to before we start off, it's a question for you. I've been hearing that you had problems with your shoulders. Okay. And I found out, and what really brought the information in was when Deborah was telling me that, oh, you're cleaning houses, and I was unaware of that. And all of a sudden I got, oh my goodness, those activities, the burden, the cleaning in houses, takes back from many lifetimes when you were really burdened. You were worked, and it was not a good situation, and it was, definitely a lot of burden in those lifetimes, physical as well as emotional and otherwise. And when you're engaging in those activities of cleaning houses, it's just like you were back being stuck, having to do it, being told that you must clean the house, you must do this, you must do that. And it was a pretty intense and frankly negative environment in several lifetimes. And you were, by the end of those lifetimes, your body had gone through some rigors. And what the cleaning is doing, I'm not sure if just being aware of it will help, but it's manifesting. You're linking to that. And of course, you're still letting go of some of it, but it can only go at a certain rate until we're ready to let go of it faster. But right now it's going, and that's what a lot of that has to do with. So I'm sorry it took me so long to tell you. I've been meaning for 3 weeks to write you an email or call you or something, and every time it just didn't seem to happen. So anyway,
Actually, perfect timing, absolutely perfect timing. And so I'm always so grateful when the universe keeps things or allows it to happen at the time it's supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just got one house left to clean one time more, and then I'll have completely given them all away, and no longer even have the desire to do it. So it feels like that part has coming to its fruition completely.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it is for you to let go of it. Yeah, and you obviously are doing that.
and when I had the decision to do it, and it really was about the shoulders, but also about my need to please others was
Yes.
really a big part of it. And my need to be better, oh, she's so good at that kind of a thing. and I saw it for its honesty and knew I didn't have to do that anymore. So that and the shoulders both, I was able to say, yep, I don't need this anymore. And when I let it go, I could feel that entire release of the energetics that had, well, I won't say entire because there's still a piece there, but I could feel that release of all the energetics I had held for so many lifetimes. So your information is perfect tonight.
Well, I'm glad. Again, I wish it would have been sooner. And you have some layers that come through, and it came, your high self in the universe told me, but just before we started the session here, the insights gathering, that it's going to come through at the speed that it can, again, as always, to keep things in balance so things don't go, out of, topsy-turvy on you. But you are doing that, and some new things are coming in. Some have, it looks like they've already started. I don't even know what they are, but there's some more stuff coming for you, like ongoing, as well as some new things in the future. And I think some of them you already know about. So
yeah, I can feel a couple of the things coming in. So thank you for always having such wonderful the words are escaping me, to help us realize that what the path we're on is really the one that we're supposed to be on, and we're following it properly. So thank you for always having that information.
Oh, you're welcome. And it comes from them. I know that I'm just the go through. So anyway, I'm glad to have it for you. And I'm glad you recognize that, because you were really in a position in those lifetimes, intensely so. It was either your spouse and other male roles in your life, they were more like taskmasters and it was intense. So the fact that that that's the situation, you don't have to please them. You can,
Thank you.
All right. Okay. Wow. Boy. I already know, Pat, we'll come back to you last, unless you want to start now. Do you want to go now, or do you want to wait?
I'll wait, thank you.
All right, I kind of thought so. All right, Lisa, what do you have? What's going on in your life? I know you're always busy, so it goes without saying.
Okay, I had to write stuff down here.
Oh my goodness.
Notes, because I would say it started about the 20th of July,
Mm-hmm.
and it hasn't stopped. So much, like even daily, huge, like we're not talking about like little things, but very large things have unfolded.
Mm-hmm.
So back in July, I did, it was like a oneness thing, like a big global summit, and it was about releasing stress and relationships and abundance.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hey, I'm going to do the abundance thing. So on the last day, when they focused on the abundance, it was very interesting. We were going through a process, and they had us just look at like what comes up around your first, during childhood. It was like your first, oh, failure. I think it was a failure or something. So anyways, I saw that and I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I start to go all the way back to Atlantis. And I'm just standing there and I'm just watching the collapse of it, like the last part, it's pretty kind of horrific. And I'm watching the big wave come up, but it's interesting because I was just observing it. And when I did that, these words kept coming through my mind, and it was, I released the collective wound of Atlantis, or I released the wound of Atlantis from the collective. And it came through, I think, 3 or 4 times. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't really know what that was. And then at the end, they did a blessing for us to receive the abundance. And to move out of the suffering and things like that. So, and it was just, I just felt really nice. I felt expanded. I didn't feel what I would normally feel in the blessing. So the next day I felt like totally different and
Mm-hmm.
I was disoriented. And so I kind of went in and asked my team, okay, what happened yesterday and what's happening now? What's unfolding? And they said basically, I released the whole architecture of suffering and scarcity and lack out of my whole being, like out of the DNA, out of the blueprint of the soul. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy. And so then I asked about that thing with Atlantis, and they said that you were in your, because when I went in, I started that session not as a seeker or a student, but I stepped in as my master self.
Mm-hmm.
It felt very different when I was listening and observing. And they said that when I did that, my soul accessed that part of Atlantis and we released that from the collective. So that was really interesting. So that happened. And after that, my light body came online.
Mm. Deborah told
I've
me
been,
about that. Yeah.
yeah, which I've been waiting for. And so that was kind of new. And then about a week after that, I was kind of asking about more about the light body because we talk about the light body, but you don't really know a lot about the light body, or I didn't. Like, well, what happens when you start integrating it or when it comes online? And so, what I was being told is that I still had this ancestral gravity that needed to be released so that it could fully come in and expand. It was
Mm-hmm.
there, but it was kind of working around some of that debris, if that makes sense, the density
Mm-hmm.
of my ancestors. So I was at the lake and I'm just in the water and nobody's there. It's just me and Poppy. And I just say, okay, I release this density. I allow myself to finally release the ancestral density. And, I just nothing happened. I was just okay, just having a good time in the water. I'm driving home and I'm feeling like this. At first, I feel this sharp pain in the top of my head and like somebody stabbed me. And then I felt like this swirl of energy, like a vortex coming up and out of my head. And I was like, okay. And so I'm like, okay, I got to get home. And I'm feeling really wobbly. And I'm like, okay, what happened there? So
Mm-hmm.
I went in and asked. And because when I looked at it, I could see like this gold and this violet kind of shooting out the top of my crown.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were telling me that I released the ancestral gravity. I unhooked it from my field finally. And the pain is that in some of these lifetimes where I was a priestess and you had to have vows to secrecy to certain things, that what would happen is a cap would get created in that crown chakra and
Mm-hmm.
kind of cap it. So that's what was popping out. That's what the pain was. So
Wow.
that happened, and gosh, what else? Uh, I'll just quickly say so old parts of myself were released that were still hiding, that weren't really coming into the light. Parts that were still afraid of being seen.
Mm-hmm.
That was a whole nother experience. I saw like my aspects, I saw the whole honeycomb of my soul and aspects integrating. And then I had like this intense itching across the back, and I'm like, well, and it was really sore. And so I was like, well, that's the past life aura. So stuff must have come off. But then when I kind of went in and asked, basically, it said my wings started to unfurl.
Mm-hmm.
So we all have these wings, as you know, but those started to open up and kind of come online. So that was something new. And then just a few days ago, I released these old beliefs that weren't allowing just causeless joy to come in. And when those got cleared out, I had like this huge wave of grief hit me. And then I actually sneezed pretty intensely. I was like, whoa. And so that kind of popped that out of my field. And then I started feeling this deep expansion and this swirling. And then I kind of asked a little bit more about that. And they said that because they told me early on, I had integrated a whole bunch of my aspects, but there were still these aspects that were orbiting in my field that hadn't come home. And so they said, when I released the beliefs that were keeping me from being in joy, those final aspects came in. And then, yesterday, my I am presence started anchoring in. So that's what's been happening.
Wow.
That's just a quick outline.
My oh my. Well, there are still aspects and bubbles, I'm going to call it that, within your being's field, call it that way, that must come in. You're doing them as you're doing them, and the ones that work within. I see it kind of metaphorically as these spheres of, this is the sphere we're in, then we expand out, and there's these other parts of us that we don't know about, or that are just aren't, we may know about, but we can't do anything with. They're not ready yet. And out and out and out as we go out. We can think of it as going up and up and up, and it is, but it's out and out. And as you're expanding outward in your being, your threads of your being, as they're becoming active, you're going to find more will get integrated in the same fashion. So more is coming. And there's some more pockets, and it's happening in its own time, as the things always do. So, wow. I'd like to say, boy, just another day in the park, walk in the park, but my goodness, you've been really busy. And lots more is happening and going to continue to happen for you. So, and it's interesting you mentioned Atlantis, because I've known for a long time that the entire soul group got shut down after that. Paula's saying, yeah, more about the light body. Okay. She's asking about the light body, and it might be a chance to talk a little bit more about that. Lots of facets to it, but the whole soul group got shut down, and we were connected to it because of all of our participation in it. But when we can let that go, this is the time of I call it the spiritual renaissance, as you know. It's a time of reawakening, and to let all that go and to move into our higher nature, or light body. So Paula asked more about the light body. Would you like to talk a little bit more about it? We could spend hours and days talking about it, because there's so much to it. There's some key things, but do you have anything you'd like to share that's a fascination to you, or that you think is pertinent for Paula?
Well, it's been a few years that I've been focusing on bringing in, integrating the light body, and then it's come online, and now it's fully. So the old biology, or the old system, the anitron, is offline.
Mm-hmm.
And the light body system has now taken over, but there's a whole integration period. And so for a while, I had to eat very specifically, like, I couldn't eat a lot of like raw foods, or I had to do like raw steamed vegetables, fruits.
Mm-hmm.
And my digestion was upset for a while because of that transition. And it's been real interesting, because even though things will fall away, as was, we're talking about, you'll still have these old echoes of the old, patterns and things that are still kind of there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have to kind of remind myself that I don't have to eat for fuel now, that it's not the way that it was, where before you had to eat for energy, you ate food to fuel the
Mm-hmm.
body. And so it's not like that. So it's like I kind of have to remind myself. And when the whole big process started, it forced me to go into really slowing down. It pushed me out of that kind of that survival mode and that go mode. And so everything I do, it's about being present with everything moment to moment. So I've been learning to eat very presently, slowly with my food, with my tasks, everything. One of the cool things, it was probably a couple weeks, maybe 3 weeks before I was out around people. And so one of the things the light body was doing for me is that it's radiating the light from within me, and I'm not picking up all the stuff from my environment now. I can still feel things and I'm sensitive and can tune in, but I'm not absorbing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, because you're more fundamentally operating from your connections, more so, increasingly so, your connections with from your high self, your light body, and the various aspects of your high self. So, yeah,
So,
and when I went back and looked at Jesus when I go back from time to time, watch when like the Pharisees and the Sadducees were attacking him because boy oh boy, he was interfering with their gravy train that they had going of power and control. And I'd watch stuff come, but he was, as a Christ self, it would come in, it would dissolve, dissolve, dissolve. And there was he had the connections to his lower self because but he operated from the high self. And I only saw once where something, where he actually was just because he'd been going all day long, dealing with this intense incoming that he was getting tired and things got pretty close to getting him. Then he went off on a boat, and you'll see it in the Bible. It says Jesus was tired and he fell asleep, or he went to the other side of the lake, and rested to rejuvenate and reconnect. But that's what it looks like to me, if you're increasingly doing that. I agree. I mean, it'll ebb and flow a little bit as your new stuff comes up, old stuff comes up. You might find yourself occasionally more than you want to be in the low self, but then that will get dissolved and you'll be moving on. So, and you continue. I'm sorry.
um, that was probably a big one that I noticed the most,
Yeah.
how deeply I felt around people. And also what was interesting is there was this greater ease when communicating with people. People were coming in and I could just feel like a more relaxed space between the communication.
Hmm.
People were even hanging out. So yeah, it just felt like there's more ease now that I have. There's not, yeah, that survival program is massive.
Hmm.
And the suffering. Um, when that left, it was like, whoa, everything changed. So
Well, my oh my, you just went through just your ongoing pattern of process, not pattern. It's a pattern too, patterns plural, of just you're ready for this to be gone, and that's what I'm seeing. What the opening comments is that the energies of the soul group are facilitating it for those who are ready in our own individual connections. But the power of the energies of the soul group can help amplify and really expedite and like we borrowed it from June, spiritual quickening. It really quickens the process, and you're definitely in an accelerated phase right now. So, and
yeah,
more to follow.
it's been a lot.
Yeah.
It's been a lot. But I'm super excited because this is what I've been waiting for. So
Well, wow. Well, I'm glad for you. Boy, it's so exciting that it's happening, and especially we're having it, when it's happening, it's like, wow. And certain things that, as it's happening, we want to tell everybody about it, but there's no way to talk about it, you know?
yeah, it's just having the languaging to say, well, this is, and it's like I said, like mentally, I've known these concepts, but when you're actually living, you're living in the embodiment, like you come into your mastery and you're living from that. It's a whole different experience. And it's like, I just felt like I'm learning as I go. I definitely feel, I now feel something else happened that I can't really even find the words other than I can feel my soul, my divinity, my divine, and the beings that work with me. It's like I just feel them there with me all the time now.
Hmm.
Where in the past, so it's like a lot of those veils got dissolved because they've been there,
Hmm.
but the veils get dissolved, so there's no separation. So it's kind of a new evolution. So maybe after I've integrated it more, I can talk a little bit more about it because it's from what I understand, it wasn't how the other masters, they didn't have it at the time when they were on the planet, and even Yeshua didn't have it. So it's something different that we're all evolving into, where we have that the connection to our divine, and we feel it, we know it, we're living it, and it's there all the time. So, like I said, it's kind of hard to put the words to it. And
It
it's
is.
not outside us, it's inside us, if that makes sense.
Hmm. I, I, I just, one of the things the best words that have come to me to talk about is being an instrument through our connection with the divine, an instrument of the divine, um, and a vessel of divine energies, whatever, for ourselves as well as for others. We're a vehicle of that. So, and it's beyond the ability to talk about it. It's wordless, our friend Kay, when she was around, she was able to really say things in a way that really communicated that these things and all these concepts. She could use a description that illuminated it, kind of like art and poetry do. They illuminate things, they point toward things, and then we connect with the transcendent and we go and move into that. So anyway, wow. All I can say is just wow, and just keep going. And this is the time to do it. We're in that time, and it's really accelerated. And since we last had the last insights, so much has happened. And I look at it and I can see it in the world, and you can see those who are holding on to the old. It's a rough ride, and they act out, and we're not to be part of that. So anyway, just keep up, just keep it up, just keep going. Do you have anything else before we move on?
I've been doing my divine transmissions. So, I finally did two officially, paid ones, and that's been pretty amazing. People are having some pretty profound shifts, like right then and there. It's not like an after effect. It's like they just are waking up with those transmissions.
Yeah.
And so the best way I can say is it's basically direct communion with your soul or the masters or whoever we're bringing through. And it's different from channeling because it's not coming through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
It's there present. I'm the bridge to deliver it, but it's been very interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, so much is happening. I'm excited for you. It's like incredible. And, when we're going through it, it's exciting. So just keep us informed, and, next time, and probably in between times. And because I know you talk to Deborah from time to time. So the part she can share, she does. And the part she's not supposed to share, I'm sure she doesn't. So, well,
I knew
just
you
excited for you. And I don't know other than that, just to say, wow. That's what Kay used to say to me. Wow. It's like, okay, I get it. Nope, that's as good as it's gonna get, because it's beyond the words. So, anything more before we go?
No.
Well, thank you. Wow. Again,
you.
wow. That's all I can say. I'm wordless. All right. Wow. Boy. Well, we talked to Paula. Paula, I wanted to mention a couple more things that came in addition to what Lisa talked about, which is, really exciting about the connection with the high self. And we all have our own individual way we connect with it. So it's an individual experience for everyone. But all our different aspects that we have also are reflected in our different aspects of our high self. And we're all threaded through all creation. The spirit attributes, as I refer to them, and the threads of our being are woven through creation and the various aspects of the divine. Each of us have different connections with the various aspects of the divine, the Father, the Mother, Yahweh, you can, any one of them. And even if two people have the same, have a connection with the Father, it's not the same connection. And so those various aspects of our high self can come out. And when we're ready, they will come to the front, and those will become more of a primary channel for us. And then, of course, you have the aspect of our high self, which is the light body template, basically the patterning, but that has many levels too, and then aspects to it. So as Lisa talked about all these different things that are happening with her, there is so much that we could talk about with the high self, because it's our connection with the divine, and as with the divine, it goes on and on and on. And there's the high self, and I've talked about it before, there's the higher self, and it's not like higher, it's more, I have to talk about it in mathematics, it's like supersets. The God beyond God chapter, that sort of thing, those connections with that. And then we're ready, we move outward into that. It looks like upward, and it is upward. So it just keeps going and going and going. So it's exciting, and again, wow. And speaking of that, the whole reason I mentioned that whole thing is your high self. You're going to be meeting with, I'm going to call it another facet or an aspect. I don't want to call it quite an aspect, but I'm going to talk about a facet of your high self who's ready to come in and work with you on some things that are coming in for you, some new work. And then you'll have some outer work things, interactions with others and things that you're doing that will reflect that, but it's going to becoming facilitated through that connection. And that's coming. If it looks like it's already begun, but you may not be aware of it yet, but that's coming for you. So.
Well, thank you for that update. Wow, with everything Lisa said and with that information,
I know.
My whole body is just tingling. So the joy is immense. Thank you for adding that in there.
You're welcome. And yeah, I'm going to be curious when you meet her, and you will. Let me know. I'll be curious. I'm curious because I really feel like it's really it's different, and unique, but it's so you, and it's like a part of you that hasn't been allowed to manifest yet. So I'm curious what it is. She's keeping it quiet, so I don't know yet. So anyway, thank you. Jessica, how are you, and what's happening in your life? My goodness. Are you there?
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you can, very clearly, as a matter of fact.
Okay. It seems like a lot of stuff has been changing, Lisa was telling me about her stuff, and I was like, wow, now what are you gonna do? Because you've done everything.
Oh no. She's just in the middle. She's ongoing. This is wow.
Oh.
Anyway, and this is true of all of us, by the way. So it's,
Right. So anyways, work is going a lot better.
Mm-hmm.
I've been getting along with everyone much better, and we hired a couple new people who have really good attitudes, and yeah, so I mean, it's still not perfect, but did I do everything I need to do there yet, or do I need to stay longer?
You actually are growing in a way, and new light. I'm seeing it as like this new light coming in as the unfoldment happens in the work, and expansion. And it looks like it's going to be reflected in the work environment, but it has to do with you. The work is a vehicle or a catalyst. It's not quite the right word. Not quite a well, let's just leave it at that. Of facilitating some growth for you, and it'll reflect there. And when the time is right, not only in the work environment will can expand. You could possibly even stay there, and your position could, your roles and duties and responsibilities, your status there could change as well. Um, it also looks
Okay.
like that you can move on to some other things. Eventually, I think that will happen, but right now, the universe, divine, your higher guidance, they're using this environment of yours, these interactions and the spiritual energies that you're bringing through, and then the others are not well. A couple of them are kind of possibly aware of it, but they wouldn't be able to put words to it. But the light you're bringing through is facilitating the light in them, which is making the whole thing better. Of course, there are some people that are less open to it, but you're really there as you're expanding and growing and unfoldment of your own life, you're helping and facilitate the unfoldment of others. And in turn, it's helping to mold the environment out in waves. So it's happening softly. I won't say slowly, I'll say gently. And that looks like it's going to continue for a while, but it's evolving. So I can't tell you what it's going to be because they're not telling me. And I suspect for the very reasons we've talked about before, it's because it's your process for you to know. Go ahead.
I just laugh. I'm like, that's pretty typical. They don't want to tell
Yeah,
me anything.
but this is really good. This is a real good, I say, place. Energetic connection and process and flow you're in. Flow, that's going to use that word. Flow you're in. And there's some downsides to it. There's some, you could say threads of less than desirable. I won't call it negative, but less than desirable things. But as you're bringing through things, it's helping dissolve again that of others, helping brighten. It's brightening the place, and it's so much brighter than when you started. When we saw you when you're first there, it was heavier, and it's getting
Yeah.
lighter. Yeah.
Yeah, it seems a lot lighter and
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot more fun because
Yeah.
I know more things are happening and it's busier. So I mean, you have a lot more interaction with people, and
And
so that part's been good. Yeah.
it's going to expand beyond that. The sphere of connections that you interact with is going to expand. It looks like here soon. And I can't tell you what soon is. Could be, I don't want to say tomorrow, but a couple of weeks to a month. Could be 2-3 months. But it's going to continue to gently expand and happen. And that seems to be best not only for you to keep your life stable, as we've talked about before, but also is really good for everyone else. Your spiritual work is a gift to others. It really is.
Oh,
Just
that's good.
do it, yeah. And that's how the universe and divine see it, I'll tell you that.
Well, good. Yeah, it seems like everybody is shifting and um not all the way yet though. So,
Well, they don't
but
even consciously know what's happening. They can feel it, at that intuitive level, at the emotional level,
right,
but they don't have probably most of them couldn't put words to it. And they wouldn't attribute it to, well, they kind of do see it in you, but you're helping because of your connections. You are a vessel of the light, again, an instrument, a vessel of the light coming through for others, and the divine and their higher guidance is using you to bring in the energies that help dissolve some of the stuff when they're ready for it. And because the environment's brighter, things are happening that wouldn't have happened had you not been there. I can just definitively say that that's from there. All your higher guidance agrees with that. That
right.
because you're doing what you're doing and continuing to, some days, you really have to focus and to keep the light, but that effort is not going unnoticed by your higher guidance.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, and well, I've noticed other things happening too. Like, I've been talking to some family and they're much more chatty than they ever used to be.
And they don't even know why.
I know, right?
Yeah, they don't. They don't know why. Yeah.
It's like blah blah blah. Like, okay, this is funny. But also with other people, I've noticed like they're
Hmm.
like all the stuff is coming up from like a long time ago to be let go, I guess.
Yes.
And yeah, so they're all upset about things that are like 20 years ago. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I thought that was kind of interesting too. But
And part of that's for the soul group stuff that's it's moving people on, and people think they're holding, as this stuff comes up, as we know, sometimes it feels like, oh, here I am following back into old patterns. And the reality is, no, we're letting go of that. We're moving on, and that stuff, part of it gets let go directly, as we've talked about before. It just falls away. And sometimes,
mhm.
because parts of our being hold on to things, our low self, it gets processed through our energy field. But that's what they're doing, and and these the soul group energies that are coming in that are just flowing in, and I'm saying penetrating the earthly plane, are certainly facilitating that, but so are you. You're making it possible. You're helping making it possible for them to speed up what they're doing. And then in some cases with your family and people, when they talk about this stuff, they're the energies coming through you are facilitating it to happen. So you may feel like
Gotcha.
sometimes you're getting dumped on. The reality is you're the vessel and the catalyst that's not quite the right word again, but that's as close as I have for words to facilitate it to happen. And it's happening not tumultuously, but gently again. That's the word of the day for you, gently and smoothly. Yeah.
Okay, we like gently.
Yeah. And don't you? It feels like you do like it this way. It's not chaotic. It's not like a bumpy road as much. There's still some a few speed bumps
Yeah.
every now and then, but it just feels like it's better for you.
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I like it when it's not like chaos all over the place,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Absolutely.
Some people really like that. So
You know what? And there are people, when they live in the low self, especially when they're in the process, they may not even know it. They're in that process where their life path and life plan has it for them to start letting go of stuff. You'll see them in the middle of drama. They're drama kings and drama queens,
hmm
and you have to, and that'll continue until it doesn't, until they're ready to start letting go of it. For some people, that takes lifetimes. For other people, when we're ready, it can happen quite quickly. And it's like spiritual
yeah,
growth, like all the things that Lisa was sharing. That's waiting for all of us. When we're ready, the things that we're ready to do, we become aware of them, especially as we're seeking them, and things happen.
yeah.
Yeah. And things are happening with you, and you're the expansion. They don't want me to say much more than this, but it's your connections and the light that flows from you, the threads of light that flow outwards to the people you interact with, and just the work and the people and the business are going to expand, and that again is a reflection of what's happening with you.
Okay,
Yeah, it's all
awesome.
good. Even the bumpy parts are good because it means
All right.
stuff's happening.
Okay.
All right, I know sometimes it doesn't seem that way, but it really is good.
I know.
I have to remind myself too, so don't I take my own advice on this one. Boy, why did that happen? To say, well, that's because it needed to happen. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
awesome.
All right.
Well, thank you. I
Well, you're
appreciate it.
welcome. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad to see it. I mean, they're showing me this is brighter, and they showed me the before and after. I love it when I get to see that. Like, oh, when she first got there, and now, wow, what a difference, night and day.
Yeah, it was very dense when I got there.
Yes, and well, anyway, just keep it up. Keep up the
Okay,
blessings for yourself, your unfoldment, and for everyone else as well. So, thank you.
awesome. Thank you.
Whew. Wow, this has been huge. Everybody's got all kinds of stuff. All right, Franny, what do you have happening? What's new with you? Oh, you moved. You're on my left side of my screen. You were stealthy.
Huh. Oh, well, such a big blast of energy on this call. Like I was fidgety and couldn't settle in and just like, wow.
Yeah.
But now my vibration must have changed a bit. So anyway, I'm very, very glad to be here. I've had lots of feelings of contentment lately.
Hmm.
Like a lot of times I'll sit on my front porch and have tea in the morning before I go to work. And I just feel so blessed with the life that I have. It's almost hard to put into words. My garden, my house,
Hmm.
the trees, the earth energy there, the cats. It's just so wonderful. Um, physically, I've had a low back injury, and I've had this before, and it's really been bothering me to the point that it's hard to stand or walk for very long. So I'm doing various things to help with that. But if anybody gets or if you have an insight, or my guides or higher self have an insight about what's that about, I would love to hear that.
I do.
Um,
I do
yeah,
actually.
okay.
So, one of the things that happens in this life, and I've had it happen with me, um, I I have a back injury that I happened when I was 18 years old. When I was it was near dusk, and I was exploring a new building. It was a yacht place in Silverdale, Washington. Anyway, I had no business being there, and I fell through what was going to probably be a set of stairs, and I held on, and my back bent backwards, and it hurt right there. And it looked like, oh, what an unfortunate incident. But that ties to injuries that I had way back when I was working for the King. I was in combat roles, and that's when they were just, it's a resurgent. And what this is, and it's just ties to you, this is 3 or 4 lifetimes ago. You had I'm just going to call it a situation, and you can go back and look at it if you want, of where an accident happened and it had tied to emotional interactions with others in your family and others around you, with probably community, people you knew, and it's tied to that, and it's time for you to let go of that, and that's why it's coming up. And it's in your lower back. Looks like it's like the lower third of your back. It's like, I can't quite, I don't know the L's in the vertebrae, and I don't know which L number it is, but it's in that. And it looks like it's pretty painful and intense, but it's for you. This is the part. This is the part of it you may not like. It looks like it's you're ready to let go of it. There's pieces of it as you explore it, and you can release, and it'll probably happen layers and pieces and stuff. It'll take a little while for it to go, but it's part of it is for you to let it go, I believe, to where it's a non-issue or practically a non-issue. Um, you're on the front end of it. A little ways into the front end of it.
So is there an issue of like forgiveness, or
It's
is it
complex.
just enough,
Oh, go ahead.
just just enough to know of letting go, just letting go of stuff, of
Yeah, the
old
whole
stuff from
period
other
of that.
lifetimes?
Yeah, and I see it. It looks like I see sometimes things in these little blobs, and that is the experience, the whole encapsulated experience of that lesson, and it can be a period of time, and it's like yarn. It's just woven in all these interactions and the cause and effects that happen in that life. That this caused this hurt, and that hurt caused us to get angry, and we did something or whatever. I'm oversimplifying it, but it was over a period of time with family, friends, and community. Right? It's a real important thing. It has to do with some of the expectations and that were put upon you from community that caused you issues, and all of that is a layer that you're ready to be unburdened by. You're ready to let go of it now, but it needs to unwind in whatever way that you can do it. And it may happen slow at first, but you're usually pretty good at getting in touch with those things and being able to let it go piece by piece or layer by layer. But that's how I'm seeing this one. To what they're showing me. So, yeah, that's why it's manifesting. And again, that ties to the whole soul group accelerated thing that's happening. So you're ready. Just now that we've talked about it, your inner being is already beginning to work on it. So,
Mhm. Mhm.
and if
Okay.
anyone else has anything, please do share. I'd love to. Please jump in because each of us picks up something that the other does not.
So, Jeff, what I was seeing is I was seeing her being hit with a bamboo reed
Oh,
across.
Mhm.
I don't know if she was a servant or a slave, but it was a
Yeah.
continuous thing that I was seeing one lifetime.
Yes, she was. She was burdened in a subservient role. I agree with that. And it was probably abuse, definitely. And I didn't see the bamboo thing, so I'm glad you mentioned that. That's good. I didn't see it, but I did. It was very intense and negative. And your high self and your guides really are there to help you, but it's time to unwind this thing. And it ties to other stuff too. You'll find that as you start unraveling the thing and releasing it, you'll see how it ties to other things that have happened in your life, and that might be various connections and facets of things in your life. And you may wonder, I can speak for myself. All of a sudden I realize, wow, that's why I have this connection with whatever it is, because of this thing. And once I realize it, then it all just dissolves and fades. But yeah,
Okay.
So,
yeah.
and
Paula?
Franny, when it first came up, hi guys,
Paula?
when it first came up, I had a fleeting picture of, is it Anne or Raylyn? I'm sorry, I for some reason I can't remember how you say her name. Your niece that just left.
Mm-hmm.
Rayanne?
I
Rayanne.
saw that. Rayanne, thank you. So there's a familial something there that's connected to your back. I'm not saying it's her specifically, but something in a familial line is related to the past life,
It's true.
which
It's
makes sense
very,
because we're all basically reliving different parts of each. Like one year we're one lifetime we're the mother, one we're the father, somewhere in the back there. Oh, and maybe there is something with Rayanne there that's a little deeper that you
Mhm.
might look at.
she was there at the
Okay.
time. I don't think in a negative light so much, mainly not in a
Okay,
negative light. By the way, Paula, you were there too. You knew
was
her.
that? Oh, okay. Well, that
You
might
knew
be
her.
why
You
I.
were in the community.
All right. Well, then Franny and I will be talking. We'll see if we can work on it together.
Yeah,
Oh,
and Franny, and thank you, Paula, for sharing that, because that I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it is intertwined with all kinds of people that were family that are now, you know, them in this lifetime in different roles. Um, but your guides are really okay, and I can mention it. Okay, this process you're going to go through, what Paula mentioned, and then I'm glad what Lisa mentioned about with what she saw the actual events. That lifetime, and there's key ones for all of us where we have a lifetime that seems to encapsulate all the different facets of kind of in a nutshell of all the different things we had. They kind of, it becomes um, a representation of all the different things we're learning and challenges and this, that, and the other thing. They're really looking for you to use your skills and abilities and their help. As you do this, it's really going to facilitate your skills in your ability to do this, to make things go, these kind of things go faster. You know, you're going to grow in the process of doing this. It goes without
Yeah.
saying, but it's really, there's some intrinsic tools, I think, some insights. They may not even be things that you can cognitively put your thumb on, but um, that are going to happen because of this process you're going to be going through, that you're in right now.
Okay. Okay. This is very interesting.
It is, and they really, although it's always I'm going to say always, it can be challenging. It can be a lot of work to work through these things and let them go, even though we know everything's going to be fine and it's going to work its way out. But the insights we gain about ourselves, the tools that we gain in our internal process, working with, on our spiritual tools, if you will, really expand when we work through these things. And yours are about to expand a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Many of them internal to where you wouldn't put a name to it, but they're there.
Well, there were some things that happened over the last couple weeks that I've been working with, and I feel like they've caused me to look inside,
Mm-hmm.
and figure out like, so there's there's a man, he lives in another state. I work with his daughter, or last year I worked with his daughter. I haven't seen her in 3 months now, or 4 months since,
Mm-hmm.
since school let out. But he wrote a letter and asked for all of my notes from last year.
Mm-hmm.
And because of a court amend, they want to amend the parenting plan. And I was very fearful. Like I got that and I'm like, oh no, my documents are going to go before the judge and I'm going to be subpoenaed and I don't want to do that and blah, blah, blah. And so I was working with, am I afraid of this man? Am I afraid of the court? What am I afraid of? And, I was able to say to myself, my soul is eternal. This man can't hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
And there are allegations that he is very abusive, that he's a narcissistic abuser.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that was part of it, that I was like, oh my gosh. Um, and I really did a lot of prayer, and I held him in the light. I could see him with his daughter, that he loves his daughter. Um, I asked for some healing energy from some of my friends, and the situation has shifted somewhat. My question was, what is the wound in me? What is this about that it would bring up such fear? And I got to the point of feeling like there was this huge like iceberg somewhere in my body, and it began to melt. Like I was sort of stuck in motion. It was frozen energy, and it started to melt. And I had a sense of, I don't need to be afraid. I know who I am. I know who I am. And I know that I come from a place of care and good intention. And I sent a document that he requested, and he sort of blasted it right away. But it was kind of like there was a quick thanks for sending this. And then he wrote a whole page of what was wrong with it,
Mm-hmm.
like this was wrong and that was wrong and blah, blah, blah. And so I just went away for the Labor Day weekend and then came back. And he'd actually written several emails over the course of the weekend that I didn't see till Tuesday. And then he wrote a softer email on Tuesday. And one of the requests was that, I need all of your records and blah, blah, blah. And you've been favoring the mother and you never called me and you should have been including me by telehealth and blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, lots of accusations, you might say. Tuesday
Mm-hmm.
the letter was much softer. So I have a rough draft of an email, and I need to run it by my supervisor, because whenever there's something like this where the court might be involved or a subpoena might be involved,
Sure.
I need to run it through them. But I'm in this growth process of, I'm aware that I was at my growing edge. I was aware that I started in a place of fear, and I found a place of compassion for myself and for that person. And um, it's not clear to me whether I'll continue to work with the family. I may not. I may just at this point say, I've taken your daughter as far as I can, and I'm going to refer her on to someone else. So, um, in any event, can you comment on this situation? And is it related to like, to me, it feels like it must be past life stuff, because, in another lifetime when I had to go to court and tell the truth, people wanted me to lie and I didn't lie. I told the truth, but then I was hanged and then I was killed in that lifetime. And I think there's a residue of being fearful of the court as a result of that. And but I thought I was kind of over that, but apparently not. So anyway, I'll stop there. What can you shed light on this for me and
Yeah.
anybody else?
Yeah, and let it open afterward for anyone that has more to share, because it's always wonderful to hear, again, different facets, because we all pick up on things that the others do not. I'm really glad you put that into light. That really evolved it, by the way. When you saw in the light, that helped change it. Not right away, but it did a little bit. And that was very good of you to do that. It looks like you're moving away from that as a role. And yes, being hanged, that ties to this. This is why your guides are this back thing. It's a pain in the back. By the way, past life stuff comes up through the back. They tie in. The first, specifically the first three chakras come in from the kundalini, from that connection back there. But anyway, that encapsulate that, all the intensity and what Lisa talked about with the beatings and that whole community thing. You were really, with your family, there was no place that you had refuge except for nature. You, in that lifetime, you would escape to nature when the few times you'd have a chance. So my answer to your current thing is, yeah, it ties to the fear ties to that lifetime where you were hanged because you told the truth, but that ties to, and it's why it's so, I'm seeing it like a ball of yarn with all this spaghetti, it's all intertwined, and this encapsulated thing for that whole period that's causing the back pain now. That hanging, that life where you were hanged ties to that. The back pain you have now ties to that. There is absolutely a gold mine of insights to be gained by your processing through it, and the tools we talked about that you're going to gain through the process of doing it. We start learning new ways of looking at it and trying new things. You're in the middle of, you've already started it and it's happening. And it, again, as far as the case itself, you're doing the right things. And putting it in the light is good. And it does look like you're moving toward letting that go. And that really feels like that's the right thing. That's at least as it stands right at the snapshot in time as we're talking, it looks like that. Because even though the father can become more, I'm going to call it less negative and more, I won't call it benevolent, but more positive, he can turn on a dime because he's got his own layers and stuff of things that are going on that he's hasn't dealt with, and every now and then when something comes up, it triggers it for him. So, in his own internal interaction. So in any case, to make the long story short, it looks like what you did putting them in the light really helped. It softened this thing. And it looks like, obviously you have to do what you have to do internally, because you're right. If anything that can go to the court can become an issue. But this looks like it's moving away.
Great.
And it's
Great.
Part of you is holding on, but it just feels like, and it's not for me to say what you should do, but it just feels like increasingly within yourself, the different parts of you are concluding that, as you said, you've done all you can in time to move on. And we all want it to come to, part of you wants to hold on and keep making it and see if you can do it, but it looks like that may not be your role now. That's not to be your role. Let me say it that way. That's not to be your role. So.
Yeah, there's definitely a part of me that's like, oh, I want to talk with him and see if he can engage in a positive way. And I want to get a better read on, I want to address his concerns and stuff. And there's also sort of like there's another part of me that is like, oh no, step back. And I've been leaning pretty heavily on my one supervisor.
Yeah.
And then there was one day that he wasn't available, and I finally figured out, okay, I can't reach him. I need to talk to someone else. And so then I trusted my own guidance on that. But it feels really good to have the support. It's actually two supervisors, but one is on the front line with me.
Mm-hmm.
And he has just a lot more experience in this area than I do.
Mm-hmm.
And, when I talked with him one night and said, or I don't know if I wrote to him or if I spoke with him, but I said, I think I need to close the door on this and, finish the paperwork, but then refer the family on to someone else. And the next day he said to me, oh, that's it. The next day we talked, and he was like, no problem. You want to do that? That is fine. It's okay. Hand it off. So it felt really good to be supported in that way.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where I need to land. Like, I think the desire to stay engaged and to try to figure it out and blah 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 help things work out and have a happy ending. It's not going to happen, but there's part of me that, and I think this is part of, in the past, you've talked about entanglements. I think this is one of the ways that I can get entangled with other people's energy when I don't need to. I don't need to. It's their stuff, and I just need to be clear about my stuff and not give my power away, and uh, not get not get involved in every situation that needs some kind of support. It's okay to say, no, this isn't mine to do. So anyway, thank you very much for that, because um, I have been really confused about, should I do this or should I do that? And how do I word it, and, anyway. So hopefully an email will go out tomorrow. My supervisor will read it, and you know, it's not going to be over with one email, but it'll at least move it forward, that I've responded, and I'll keep saying my prayers, and then go from there.
Yeah, it looks like there might be a couple more. Yeah, as you said, it won't instantly go away. But as you were talking, I was showing a picture of a person. What do they hold, a baton or whatever it is? And you're in a relay race, and you've done your portion of the race. You've done this piece that needs to be done. Now it's time to hand off the baton. And there's a time, where you're both holding on to it. You still got it. The new runner's got to get to grabbing it, and that's the period that you're moving into.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
And you're wise to do that. That's one of the 101 rules of Buddhism. Don't take on someone else's karma. In entanglements, however you want to think of it. Yeah. Even with the best intentions, we can do that. So anyway, thank you for sharing that. I'm so glad you did it the way you did. That was so helpful. Does anyone else have anything to share before we move on? Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing what, I know it's going to be some work, but as you start working with this, the energies of that, that's going to be a big thing for you. And I'll share my own experience. I have one lifetime, and I want to get into the energies of it. I'll just be descriptive of it. I worked for the king, as I mentioned, and I was a mercenary for the King of England.
Oh, wow.
Well, one of three, and anyway, it doesn't matter. But anyway, that was that lifetime. But that was a low point in my that was the lowest point I hit in my period in the universe. Period. Any other planet, any galaxy, any time. And it kind of, as I mentioned, that life for me is the encapsulated events. All that, if you want it that big, there's different pieces and parts to it. That talks about all the different facets of the things to be released, and also the possibilities that exist. And in that lifetime, when I left, just before I left, I was committed. I'm done with this. I'm moving on to this, back into the light, and in a smaller way, but equally important for you is this thing. So I want to share with you that's what I meant by. Sometimes an event or a lifetime or a period of a life becomes an encapsulated representation of the many facets that we're dealing with. And it's a gold mine of learning. It's a lot of work, but it's a gold mine of learning. And this is what this one is for you. Okay. So I'm a little redundant there, but I just wanted to emphasize it's, the work, and it's sometimes a little yucky, but boy, oh boy, the insights you'll gain.
I wanted to add in something that
Please.
I was going to say, but I think that you need to hear it, Franny, that your guidance wants you to hear that there's been an identity of the rescuer, and that rescuer
Yes.
is, you're starting to dissolve that and come out of that, and this is this whole scenario is coming up to see, like, are you gonna go in and try to rescue and make it right, or have you really released that? Are you really done doing that?
Wow.
And Jeff is right. I could totally see that guy. Like, he could be nice one moment, and the next moment he just turns like a a rabid dog or something. It's just
pernicious. Absolutely pernicious. Yeah.
And it's really not for you to take on.
Yeah.
And the fear, what I'm also seeing is that you're releasing a lot of persecution, past lives, those are clumping up and coming. And so that's why it can feel so fearful, because back in those lifetimes, you were persecuted in various ways by authority, if that makes sense.
Wow. That's huge. Both of those things are huge. So thank you very much, Lisa. Yeah. And they both make a lot of sense. And I like framing it as like I've had that identity as a rescuer, but I'm moving out of that. And this situation is the perfect opportunity for me to decide, am I going to do this or am I going to do that? So it's a frame that fits really well for me. So thank you.
Yeah. Wow. So much tonight. This is amazing. All the things happening. Although some of them are somewhat challenging, it's always our awareness of it immediately opens the light to, opens the pathway to light, to release it all. So, by the way, you said you were persecuted. Yeah, by fathers and husbands. Just what came to me when she said that, when Lisa said that, all of a sudden I saw fathers and husbands, and that ties to that lifetime that's with your back thing too. Probably other lifetimes as well, undoubtedly, but that one particularly so. Anyway, phew. But that's not who you are, and that's, oh my goodness. No.
I also, excuse me just a moment.
Yeah.
I also got that I've been working with a friend, and a lot of her stuff has to do with that she has not stood in her power, her own power. And so I got that for you, Franny, that the more you continue in how you're working with this, the more you're going to be stepping and standing in your own power.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Wow. I love it when everybody has their different pieces that just one, it's like, ooh, I hadn't thought of that. So, anything else, Franny, before we move on? Well, thank you. Wow. Okay, Marci, I don't want to make you feel like you've been forgotten. What's happening in Marci's world?
Oh boy. I don't even know where to start after all of what everyone has said. Everybody.
You're kind of, it's kind of muddled. Your audio is.
Okay, is that better?
It's still dim. It's still low.
Well, yeah, that's about the best I've got here.
Okay.
Yeah, I just feel I feel connection with everything everybody's saying. When Franny's talking, I can feel my whole lower abdomen, my whole left leg, energy moving in it. I can relate to what Lisa was saying with the crown. She reminded me that I had a similar thing, but it wasn't Atlantis, it was Lemuria.
Yeah, that's true.
And with Paula, the kind of people-pleasing thing, I'm experiencing that too, of letting go of that role. Yeah, it's been a tornado the last month, I would say. Everything shifted. I asked for the universe to speed things up, and it listened.
Yeah, be careful when we ask for that. I'm telling you. Yeah, I agree with you.
Right. I found out that they said they put 10 years into 3 months. So,
But clearly you were ready. So keep going, please.
yeah, ready. I'm having the levels of consciousness where I'm clear and in peace, but there's still the old pattern still coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of not really a roller coaster, but I don't know, those old blades are still spinning, I guess. Oh,
I see it a little bit differently. Yeah, they're coming up because you're releasing them. And just I was going to mention before I forget it, a lot of us had a lot of stuff happening in Atlantis, but I keep forgetting about Lemuria. You had a bunch of stuff that's part of what you're working on now. Some of it you are not aware of yet, but came from Lemuria. You had a flurry of interactions, let's call it that, while you're in Lemuria. And so, although you said everything sped up like 10 years and 3 months, it's actually a good thing. It means you're ready for it, and it's happening because some things, it's getting that stuff out of the way, even though it's a roller coaster, so that you can start what's waiting for you. This next phase that you're waiting is waiting for you, and I think it's I can see it. I can just see it's all. I'm looking at like a whole bunch of. I've seen it like in a movie. I'm seeing a whole bunch of fluff, like stuff coming out, being blown out of pieces of paper, this, that, coming out of a vent, coming out and being released and into the light. And it's good because that's making way so that those things would be inhibitors for what you need to be doing this next, this path you're on and moving into more fully.
yeah, it's pretty much continual release going on. This morning, probably like 10 o'clock, I had all my clothes on. I got back in bed and pulled all the covers over my head. And I just went ice cold. It was that plasma energy and high vibration and, like it's almost euphoric and then you're back to releasing again.
Yeah.
So a lot of strange energy.
Yeah, a lot of this is, and again, I'm going to tie it into the energies coming in, not only individually, but our soul group. And that really creates the environment that can really facilitate more for us to happen. When it's just an individual thing, that's wonderful. But when it's happening, the energies are coming in for the whole soul group, we can take advantage of that. And that, yet the highs and lows, there's all these threads of things that have been part of your life, part of your existence for a long time. And you've evolved. Your connections are such now that those are patterns that are they're the tools of the past. They're the interactions of the past, and they're dissolving, falling away, or being released, or both, or all a combination of those. And that's going to be continuing for you for a little bit. I'm probably not what you wanted to hear, but it's going to continue for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't seem to be, I don't seem to have like a push or a drive to do anything different, even though it's really here and I'm not in my space that, I'm not in Montana and I'm not in Hawaii, so I'm not real comfortable, but I don't have the push to do anything real sudden. I'm still watching the real estate for Hawaii. And I keep hearing, just wait, just wait.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, interrupt you, but the space you're in, because they were showing me these things, it's where you kind of need to be. It's going to be like, you're going to feel like there isn't a pattern or a direction or however you want to think of it for a while, because all this stuff has to go away. It keeps things kind of in fluff, we're surrounded by fog, or however you want to, whatever metaphorical reference you want to make to it. But this has to go and be released. The old threads of things that are no longer part, and tools and connections and ways of interacting and energies that are not part of who you are now, that with the newer connections that are happening, and then there's been a whole bunch of them, new ones, until enough of that falls away and dissolves. Once that happens, clarity will start happening, and so will the movement in your life. All of a sudden, you will pick a direction, whether it's moving to Hawaii or whatever it is you're doing.
Okay. Sounds like a possible plan.
Yeah, well, it's actually their plan, and it's your life plan. It's part of your they're showing it to me. This is the period where you're ready for this, and you're in the space where you can happen. It may not be an ideal place from us from a human level, maybe for where we want to be, but but where you are physically on the earth and where you're at with others and the place you're at with the energies coming in, all this intersection of all these things that some were aware of, most of which we're not aware of, is really allowing this to happen. And once enough that's gone, and it'll be a little while longer, then it will start clearing again and you'll have a direction. And it may be a direction that just all of a sudden happens. You know what I mean? One that kind of unexpected, it may still be Hawaii, but just the events and the situation. I don't know. I'm just seeing the light. I'm just being shown what comes after this and the light of it for you. So it's there waiting, and then you'll have the opportunity to choose a direction. And no matter what direction you choose, even if it's not the ideal one, you're going to be guided. Your higher guidance will automatically course correct you to where you need to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, everybody.
Well, thank you, and I hope, boy, next time I hope we can get a little. Everybody was getting next to the speaker so they could hear, but yeah, this period we're in is. So much is happening with everybody, and not only this group, but I know people just in the world that are having, my coworkers and others, and I'm seeing all this stuff, and I'm see that these energies are coming in, and this is part of the plan. But unfortunately, they're not in a place where we can talk about this. They're just regular worldly people who aren't ready for us to have this conversation. So, we talk about what we can, and for those who are ready. So. Thank you very much, Marci, for sharing that. And I'm actually feeling isn't the right word. I'm observing that so much of this happens with us as we grow. Just these, like the closet full of stuff that we've had all this time within our being finally gets opened and gets unstuffed, and just things get released so it can clear out and make the space and have, the what is it? What are the minimalists? The people who keep very basic living, where we can kind of empty our being to where we have the essentials of who we are, what we need, and the tools we need, and the connections we need to walk the path that's waiting for us next. And that's what you're doing. So.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. Wow, I cannot believe the amount of stuff. It's happening with everyone. My, oh my. All right, Pat, do you have something more to share? You are now, you're up, your turn.
I'm the last.
Well, not the last.
I want to be the last.
I know you do. So what's going on, Pat?
I wish I could tell you that I knew what is going on, but I will tell you this, that from the moment we started, I felt this energetics flowing within my being. And then when Lisa came on, after she had been speaking a short time, I was nodding out, except that I was hearing every single thing that she said.
Mm-hmm.
But that energy was just flowing, and it was just pretty amazing. And I will say that I have had a spiritual transmission with Lisa, which has helped me with certain beings that are a part of my life, to where I can now really feel them finally on a daily basis when I sit quietly, especially when I do Kay's meditation.
Mm-hmm.
And the last part, when I'm on the level where Kay is, then I can easily tap into them. And at night when I'm going to sleep, but it was just awesome being a part of everybody's sharing tonight and being in that space. I mean, I'm not going to use the word high. I'm just going to say, part of the flow. And also, of course, John and Chris are here holding space for everybody too. I just want y'all to know that. So I don't know if you have anything for me. Feel free to bring it forth.
Oh, I guess have it from your high self and the divine mother. I'm just going to say I was going to say, I had a different word, but I'm going to keep saying flowing with the process you're in. Much of it you're unaware of. And by the way, Kay, in her usual Kay self, she's very stealthy. And I knew that when she was here on Earth. She's a stealthy kind of, she'll be doing all kinds of things and we don't even know about it until suddenly you become aware of it. And she's doing stuff working with you.
Oh.
And she wants to keep it at the anonymous level right now. So I'm going to honor that and just say that. She's doing, and it's really, I guess that's what, what is it they said in Winnie the Pooh? That's what Tiggers do best. That's what she does. She's good at that, and she's doing it with lots of people. I mean, I see her in meditation. I know she's around, and she doesn't tell me what she's doing. And at this point in life, I've just said, that's fine. I'm all good with it. I know it's going to be for the highest good. So I'm when it's time to know, we'll know, and I'm going to share that with you. That's what she just said. I'm supposed to tell you. She wants you to know that when you need to know, you'll become aware of it. Sometimes you may recognize that it's from her and you'll say, oh, Kay told me this, or I got this from Kay, and, non-verbally, however you got it. And other times you'll just become aware of it. But she's a part of that and working with all the others that are your higher guidance team. So I'm going to leave it at that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate everybody and the deep personal sharing and loving that each one of you offers, and to be able to be a part of watching your growth as well as my own.
Yeah, it's such a joy to be together. And I can't overemphasize it. When we used to do our meditation groups in the Elohim gatherings, I used to only go once a year for the Easter meditation, the Easter gathering, but we'd have something come up and 5 or 6 people, not everyone, we had 20 people there, and maybe 5 or 6 people would respond when someone had something to share. But it was always insightful because, again, there was an overlap. We all picked up on certain common things, but then each person would pick up on things, just like Lisa and Paula and you and Franny, when you share things, and just when everybody shares things, we each can bring and just add a facet to it, and we all benefit from that. So I just love it when everyone shares. So thank you all. Yeah. Whew. My, oh my, this has been a heck of, just a wonderful, heck of a good gathering. It's been a wondrous gathering of just eventfulness and growth and unfoldment and releasing as well. So, and expansion, because that's how I see it. What's what we do, we move outward. So with that, I'm going to just go around as we always do and get last thoughts and things. And I'm going to start with Marci this time. Do you have any last thoughts? Oh, by the way, is anything at all?
No, thank you, though. Everyone have a beautiful evening.
Oh, thank you. And your audio got better. So the satellite gods must be doing well. The signal got improved. So I love it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you. All right, Jessica, do you have any last thoughts, questions, anything at all you'd like to bring up before we close?
No, it was a beautiful call, and I appreciate all your insight, and it was great to see everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. It is. It's a joy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, Paula, do you have any last thoughts, anything at all? I see you're out in the pasture. Or on your deck or something there. Got nature out there in the background.
I just got to spend the whole time outside, so thank you. First, a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of us that's doing our work.
Mm-hmm.
And from the sounds of it, every one of us is doing our work, which brings in more enlightenment, and for that, I'm grateful for each of you. Mars, respite. This is your respite. I think for some reason that came up before you left. This is your quiet time. So enjoy it. And for that, just thank you to everyone for the sharing. It's so wonderful to hear everyone's growth and And thank you, Jeff, for always bringing through such wonderful messages and information for us.
Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
I love it too. Yeah, I'm with you on that. You know, when you say, "Gosh, I wish something more was happening," and then when that starts happening, it's like, "Hold on, can I go back to the vacation thing? Can I go back to the respite?" As you said, I love it. Franny, any last thoughts, questions, anything at all?
I just echo everybody's thanks. It's just a real privilege to be here with everybody and to have folks witness each other's journeys. It's so special. And Jeff, thank you for creating this venue and allowing us to come together in this way. Yeah.
Well,
And I'll say wow to everybody. Wow.
I agree with it. It is a wow night of all of activities. I agree with you. Thank you for. Yes, I agree. Okay. Thank you, Franny. Lisa, any last thoughts, questions, anything at all? Anything you'd like to share?
Thank you, everybody. It's just been an incredible evening, and yeah, it's been great to be able to share a little bit of the stuff that's been happening. And it's also exciting to hear a lot is happening for everybody else. This is definitely the time to really take those quantum leaps. So, yeah, you're ready, do it. So thank you, Jeff, and yeah, thank you everyone for being a part of this group.
Oh, yes, you're welcome and thank you. And you just said quantum leap, and I was just showing something. Now's the time. And that was one of the messages that was embedded in Edgar Casey and many of the others that we're talking about the times we're in. Eventually here, probably within the next decade or so, society is going to evolve to this next plateau, and the robustness of the energetic activities now there's still going to be wonderful things happening, but it's not going to be quite the same. And this is the time to take advantage of it. So I want to echo what you just said. You're absolutely right. The time is now, and obviously everyone's clearly doing that because things are happening. So thank you for saying that, boy, because this is the time, and when that next plateau comes in for society, it'll be different, and again, it won't be quite the same. And there's things that can happen now that won't happen quite the same or as quickly when we move into that next plateau of where society's going. And I don't know what that is, but I know it's coming. You've been showing me that for a little while. Haven't mentioned it before, but it's coming. Okay, and with that, Pat, any last thoughts from you, John, or anyone?
Anything?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Blessings and love to all.
All right. Well, thank you. And I actually have a closing thought tonight, and it's been coming for a while for Deborah and I, and that we feel like we've talked about the meditations, and Deborah's been with it, and we've really been feeling that it's time for it to evolve. I know we don't even know what that means. We can feel it. We know the energies are happening, and we're going to flow with it. And I feel like that's true of not only the meditations, perhaps this forum too, to evolve. I don't know what that means. We know we're always going to be interacting with one another, but I'm going to wait and see. As clarity comes, then we'll know more. But I've been feeling that's been on my heart. I've been knowing it, and still don't have clarity. But I don't think it's quite the time yet. So I'm really grateful for everyone for all the sharing and just the time together. Because when we get together, all this energy, I'm sure it's happening with all of you. Just it's pouring through from each of you. It's like holy smokes. And then I'm wired for the next 3 hours and can't go to sleep. So. It's a good wired, but anyway, I wanted to share that I feel like the time is coming for things to evolve into some next thing, but I don't know what that is yet, as true of all of us. So anyway, thank you all, blessings, light, and love, and I will, until next month, we'll see you then, and probably in between time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.